Welcome guys, I'm Gio here, and this is second video in a series about functional programming in JavaScript. We are about to explore a very simple but powerful function called pipe. It allows us to compose different functions together so we can generate new functions based on already existing functions. So let's jump into editor and start exploring it. Okay guys, here we have the list of video game characters again. In previous video we took the list of names, we transformed this into the list of just names, and right now we are about to do the same, but in addition we just want to make the names uppercase. So we just want to get the list of names from this array, but the names have to be uppercase. So again, it's very similar to our previous example, but with a slight change. And let's go in iterations again. Let's create our iteration number 1, and let's create transformed variable. And right now I'm gonna go much quicker because, well, basically it's the same problem with a slight addition. And let's use, for our traditional solution, let's use map function that is available for our array. And here we, get the item, and for every item we want to get the name, and I use the method to uppercase, and let's console log this. Let's look how it works, and great, it is working, it's fine. We just got a name, list of names, but they are in uppercase. Okay, now let's try to improve it a little bit and start our iteration number 2. Okay, let's use our Ramda.JS library and create getName function, as we did in our previous example. This will get the name from given object, and right now let's create transformed. Let's comment this out and use the map function from Ramda, pass in the data as the last argument, and here we got the item. And right now we can use getName with given item, and then we can use to uppercase. So we have just made a slight change. Instead of just directly using the item name, we have used our function and then to uppercase method. Let's clear this, run again. Of course it works. Now, can we improve this? Yes, we can. We can move forward, and for this let's create our next iteration and call it iteration number 3. Let's again create getName. I'm just repeating these steps to just demonstrate the point. And here let's copy this part. Here we have our transformed value that we want to get, and instead of to uppercase method that is available for string values, we can use to upper function from Ramda.js. So that's exactly what we're gonna do now. Okay, so we get just the name, and then we use to upper from our Ramda. Let's clear this, run again. Of course it is working, and it's really simple. Now, before we move any further, we need to make a key observation here, and this is the part that we're going to improve. So here we have the item. This item first gets into the getName function, and from here we are getting the name, and then the gotten name that we have returned from here is going inside the to upper function. So if we imagine, it looks like the chain. Let's look at, I'm going to write some comments there. We have the item, then this item goes into getName, and then it goes into to upper, and our final output is that we get uppercase name. So I think it's better to visualize this way. It's like a chain. It flows, this value, this item value flows into get name. From get name we just get the name, which is a string, and then whatever we get from here, it goes into toUpper function, and we get the final output. So it's like a chain. This value flows into these functions, and transforming itself in various ways, and then we get our final result. All of that can be expressed with pipe function, this linear flow. And that's exactly what we're gonna do right now. Let's start our iteration number 4, and I'll copy this get name, and now let's create another function and call it get uppercase name. And here we are gonna generate this get uppercase name from already existing functions, and we're gonna use the pipe function to tie these functions together. So we have get name, so first we want to get name and then make this name uppercase to upper. So look at this, we have this function, we have this new function get uppercase name function, and value goes into this and this pipe helps us with that. The exact flow that I have written here happens. First we get the name, then we make it uppercase. So simple. Okay, let's close this and let's create a new function again and call it extract names, extract names, and let's use map and get uppercase name, and instead of directly writing this, we can just pass in the item, because that's the only thing we want to go in uppercase get uppercase name function. So that's why I'm not using the arrow function anymore, so we can go a point freestyle here, and we just pass in get uppercase name. Now let's again create our transformed and call extract names on our data. Let's clear this, run again, and of course it is working, and it's really beautiful. If you think about this function, it is composed of different functions to generate a new logic. Each of the parts of this function, of this generated function, are independent functions. This get name doesn't care about toUpper, nor does it care about the get name function or anything else. It only has its own purpose to make strings uppercase. It will just get the names. Same thing with pipe function. It's an abstraction. We can pass in any function list we want here, and it will just generate a new function that pass this value through the chain. And this is really a beauty of composition and abstraction, and this is really important. Now it's looking good, it's nice. Okay, let's say let's do something else. Okay, let's pretend that for some reason, let's pretend that we are getting this data from backend, and for some reason we've got an entry in a list that doesn't has name. It has title. Let's call it some weird entry because it doesn't have name. And let's see how our solutions, our first solution and our last solution react to this change, react to this data, and see how robust they are. Okay, let's run our first example. And of course, we've got, the error, cannot read property to uppercase of undefined. And of course, the name is not defined. So here we can do, some trick there and default this name to an empty string. This is one way to do it, and this error will be gone. But as you see already, it reduced this readability even more for this. We have this some or expression here, and then two uppercase chained onto that, and this is tied to the name, this logic of defaulting and to an empty thing, and what if we want to default to any other thing, and then to uppercase. So it's very coupled. Now let's look at our example, our final solution, and let's run this. Whoops, we got the error, the same error. Undefined does not have a method named to uppercase. So it's a problem here. So what can we do? Actually, we have a special function in our library. It is called default2. And if you look at this, the problem appears with two upper function, because when we get the name, there is no name, it is undefined, and then two upper function fails. So we can extend our chain and use our default2 function, and let's run it again, and of course it is working. So this is default2 is a special function, and let's explore this a little bit to understand the magic behind this thing. Okay, let's comment this out. Let's comment this out real quick, and let's try this. Okay, the default2, so this default2 takes two arguments, default2, and here first we pass in the value that we want to default to. For example, let's call it no value, and the second we want to provide the actual value. If this value will be null, undefined, or none, then this function will return no value. Okay, let's try this. Let's try null, and of course we got no value because it is null here. If we pass in any object, anything that is different from null, undefined, or none, we got this object here. And of course this function is carried, meaning we can generate a new function just by providing a single value. So we might call it default2 no value, and then this is just a function, and we can guard ourselves against some unexpected behavior just by using this default2 function. And here if we pass null, it will be no value. If we pass some string, it will be some string. So this is the magic behind it. But look at this. Right now we understand what this default2 is. Now let's look at our solution and examine again. Here, as you see, we have modified this part. We have added some condition there. It reduced the readability, but on the contrary, we have changed nothing there. The get name is still get name. To uppercase is still uppercase. It does its own thing. We have just extended our chain, our pipe, and we have enhanced it with default2, just in case we get some value that is that might cause some trouble, like in this case. And it is working just fine. And again, it proves how useful this composition is. Okay, let's summarize again what we have done. Again, the general process when you approach, when you want to implement a solution in a functional way, you take your problem, you break it down into very small problems and create solutions for each of these, like a get name, like default2, or making it uppercase. And then again, you compose them, you generate new functions, and you create a final solution. You assemble them into a final solution, which is extract names. And the beauty of this is that we can modify the certain parts without affecting the others. And of course, the key thing here is that this is also separated from the data itself. These functions, this get name, get uppercase name, extract names, can be used any data. It can be used with a single object or list of objects or in any way. And we have seen how easy it is to modify already existing functions when we follow these principles. And now imagine when you're working at scale and you have thousands and thousands of small functions, how easily you can generate new functions and how you can chain them together. So this pipe function and default2 are really, really useful ones, and if you follow this approach, you're going to use it very often. Okay, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, click the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends.